What's up guys, Qehzy or Noah here, bringing you guys another tutorial. Today I'm going to be showing you how to use a YellowImages mockup template to create a sports jersey, specifically a soccer jersey. Now I have a few variations of these tutorials creating jerseys, but I thought I'd walk you through the whole process of how to use all the layers and groups and try to confine it a little easier. And this video is actually sponsored by YellowImages.com, which is where I get some of my templates at. So you can see if I go to YellowImages and search for soccer, we get some soccer jersey templates that we could buy and use. So I have three of these templates from YellowImages, and it includes like a standard full kit, a Nike full kit, and a Nike full kit back. Are the ones I have, but there are a ton of options here, as you can see. So if you guys are interested, go ahead and check them out. YellowImages has a lot more than just mockups though. They have a creative store here that I'm on right now that has a bunch of designer resources such as picture sets, brushes, fonts, and a lot more. They also have a section full of 360 PNG images that you can rotate and save however you want, and you get to use those for whatever you like. I know a lot of web designers that love these for header images and things like that. And finally, they have a creative fonts section full of just unique rendered fonts in different styles like chocolate or meat or like signs and a bunch of other things. Also, just for you guys, YellowImages is giving me a 30% discount. So if you use code Qehzy, you can get 30% off everything that is in your cart, no matter how many items are there. But there's only 100 of these coupons available, so be sure to be quick and get on it. Fill up the cart with everything you want and you think you're going to use. Use code Qehzy and add it in and get designing. The YellowImages mockups are super high quality. They're like 4,000 by 4,000 pixels, so you get a lot of detail in the mockups. So you can zoom in really far and get all the individual details like sleeves and everything like that. You also get the textures of the material for whatever you're using. So like the different jerseys sometimes have different material and you can clearly see it if you zoom in far enough. And it also allows you to show off different areas of a jersey or different mock-up, whether it's like a product or whatever it is. You can zoom in and clearly show that to either a client or just in your portfolio, whatever it may be. They're the best mockups to use to display your work because of this fact that the quality is so high, and you have to do very little work to make your designs look good on the different mockups because the mockups look so great. You just slap your design on and you're good to go. The mockups are really easy to use. There's usually a few groups in the mockups and you have like your layers and your colors. So you select the colors of the different parts, and then on the different layers you can put different designs on different parts of, say, a jersey. You can do different sleeves on either side, different jersey, different collar. So you can mess around with all the individual aspects. But let's go ahead and start, and let me show you how to use them. Alright, here we are in the template, and I'm going to be recreating a Inter Milan kit to demonstrate how to use this mockup. So you'll notice a few things off the bat on the right side with our layers. So we have a folder with the designs, so that's where we'll be putting our custom designs. And then we have parts, which are the colors of the individual sections of the mockup. So the first thing we're going to do is decide the team/color scheme of the kit we're going to create. For whatever reason we're making it, maybe we're just creating a concept kit to post on Instagram or whatever, which is what I do frequently. Or creating something for a client. Maybe we already have a design and we're trying to display it. So whatever it is, make sure you understand the color scheme and the color of the parts. What I like to do usually is open up the body of the jersey. So if you go into the design folder, jersey, front, we have the front and we can add our design. So let's first of all add a background color. So I'm going to go down here and click solid color. And since we don't have a color scheme yet, let's go ahead and do black. Now let's go ahead and add the logos we want to use in our design. So this would be like the Nike logo or whatever brand, the team logo, and like a sponsor. Alright, so we got our logos here, now we have to set them up. So let's hide the background color, and let's hide the sponsor and the Nike logo, and set up the Inter Milan logo. You're going to press Command T and downsize it, and we're just going to kind of place it over to the right side a little bit. So this would be on the left side of the chest, about there. I'm not sure if that's where we'll keep it, but it works for now. Let's get the Nike sign, or the Nike swoosh, downsize it to a similar-ish size. It can be smaller than the club logo, and try to space it out equally from this middle line here. So this would be the right chest. And then let's do the same thing with the Pirelli, or the sponsor. And let's try that. Let's save that, and then go to our kit and see how it lines up. So everything's a little too small. So let's go back, increase the size of this guy, bring it down a little bit. Swoosh can get bigger. And let's make sure it's located right. So I'm happy with the placement of everything. Let's make sure it looks good. Not bad. I'm gonna actually put the Nike sign over slightly further, and the Inter Milan logo slightly further. And obviously you can use the lines on the grid to get it how you want it. I'm trying to get it as accurate as possible, and I think that's pretty good. We could go slightly higher, but I'm happy with that. So now let's go back with the color fill. We're gonna select the color of Inter Milan. So I like to go in on the logo and select these colors. So let's click over here, click blue. Their other color is actually black, so I'm not going to select that because obviously I can remember that. So I'm going to select the gold and click OK. So now I have those two colors saved. So on the color fill, I'm going to double click and select the blue. The Nike swoosh is going to be white, so I'm going to select that layer, Command U, increase the lightness, and then the Pirelli logo, I'm going to do the same to make them, oops, that wasn't the right one, to make them both white. We save that, there is our setup, and now we can get to designing. So after I do this setup, you could just hop into designing the kit, but we have to set up all the colors first. So come back to the template and let's go to parts. We can open that, and you'll notice two things. Depending on your template, these might be rearranged in different orders, but there might be a stitching layer, and there also might be a color layer. So a majority of this kit is going to be black, so for color I'm going to select black, and stitching I'm going to do the same thing. And then we can go into the individual sections and select the colors. So let's open up shoes since it's the first one and zoom in a little bit on the shoes. And obviously you can see the colors that correspond to the different sections. They're all named appropriately. And you'll notice if you hide them, they'll turn into the color of the color layer, which is here. So if you want them all to be, if you want everything to be black, you could just hide them. Or if you want to select their color, you can make them visible and change it. So in my case, I want these shoes to be blue. I'm going to make them blue, and then I want the laces to be gold. So I'm going to make them gold. Everything else I'm going to leave unchecked, and it will be black. You'll notice on the ankles and the tongue, there is a grid on it, which means that we can put our own design there. And I want that to be black and blank. So once we get to the shoes, we'll just hide whatever is on that layer to make it the background color. Now let's move on to the socks. And the socks I want to be all black as well. So I'm going to go ahead and just hide everything. If you wanted different colors, like I said, you can go in and change it. So maybe these shin guards I'd want to be blue. You could go ahead and do that. I'm going to, like I said, leave it unchecked. Same thing with the shorts, I want that to be black, so boom, just gonna uncheck everything. And finally, the jersey. Now, the jersey, I don't want black, it will be black and blue, so we have to tweak this a little more. So on the front, I'm actually going to double click that and make it blue. Right sleeve blue and left sleeve blue. The cuff, I'm not sure, so we'll go black for now. And back, we want blue. Sides is kind of an unknown right now, so I like to stick with the main color with blue. And since Inter Milan is stripes anyway, we're going to have a lot of stripes, so the stripe may not be necessary. Also, on the shorts, if I come back here, there's a sides layer, which is the stripe. So I actually want to go back and make that one blue. And that stripe will be visible once we get to adding the design. Now, these next three layers are interesting because, well, actually, two of the next three layers are interesting because this template actually has a mesh effect with the design. So let me go ahead and hide the sleeve designs. You'll notice if I zoom in here, there is a mesh effect on the sleeves, so it blends two colors, and you'll notice it does it with the collar as well. So the weft is this bright green, but this bright green is being mixed with the sleeve blue. So if I hide these, you can see it goes green, and if I recheck them and then hide the weft, you can see they just stay blue. And then you'll notice the cuff here goes to solid black as opposed to green and black when the weft is checked. And this is just a part of the Nike kit template that this is. That was the Nike, like a bunch of the Nike kits with this style had that mesh effect. For example, this PSG kit, you'll notice the sleeves are purple, but really it's just blue and purple meshed together, which creates that, and you can really see that in the collar. So that's what this was designed for. Since this is a bit outdated now, I'm going to just uncheck the weft effect and leave it alone. And let's go ahead and make the collar black and the neck tape gold. And of course, we can go back and change any of these colors later on. But for now, I'm happy with that, and now we can get into the actual designing part of the kit. So let's hide all the parts and recheck the sleeves, and let's get started with the actual design. I'm going to zoom in a little bit on the front part, and let's go back to the front. So obviously Inter Milan is known for their stripes. So if you haven't seen, their 2019 kit has like normal stripes, but then the section that the Pirelli logo is, they're actually angled stripes. So I'm going to show you how to recreate that effect or that striping pattern. So get the rectangle tool and create a full rectangle down to the bottom. Double click the rectangle and make it black and click OK. We're going to duplicate it with Command J and drag that duplicated layer all the way to the right, like so, and we're going to select both these rectangles and duplicate them twice. So now we have 6 of them, and I'm going to hold Shift and select them all. Now I'm going to go to Layer, Distribute, Horizontal Centers, and try to make sure that the blue and the black are equal. You can see they're slightly off, so I'm going to select the first rectangle and bring it over all the way, and then redo my distribution. There we go, so that's a little more even. Now I'm going to group these and call them stripes. I'm going to create a new layer, get the rectangle tool, and create a rectangle that is about that width of, it's a little thicker than the Pirelli logo, but is pretty close. And I'm doing this off the top of my head without looking at the current Inter Milan kit, so I'm just kind of winging it here. And we're going to duplicate the stripes folder and press Command E, and that will merge everything onto one layer. I'm going to drag it up, press Alt, and click on that layer to make it a clipping mask. So now it's only affecting that square. I'm going to Command Z to reset that so everything's in line. Press Command T, and I'm going to hold Shift. If you're in the newest version of Photoshop, drag this down to the very top of the blue rectangle, and then do the same thing and bring it to the very bottom. I still want this to be a clipping mask. It must have fallen off there. Now let's zoom in here Press Command T, and I'm going to hold Command and click this top point and drag it over until they line up like so, and hit enter. And then let's select all these let's select this layer and drag it over and put it in the space like so. So you can see it goes from the blue to the black to the blue. Obviously this is more stripes than the actual Inter Milan kit, but you can see that's the design I was kind of mimicking, and that's what I created, just with a few more stripes. So if we save it, go back, boom, there is what it looks like. Now if you save it and you don't like it, you can always go back to the front layer and press Command Z and go back to normal stripes. Maybe hide that and save it again. And then we're back to normal. So even when you save this layer, you can still press Command Z and go back. You can also save it and then press Command Shift Z and go forward and get the design again. Also, you don't have to use your own designs here. So if I hide all these, you can actually drag in pictures or designs that you either like make in Illustrator or something else. Maybe you want to combine some textures and things. I actually have a patterns pack in my store of patterns from kits I designed before and current kits that I kind of copied the design of. So I went into Illustrator and like created this Adidas pattern, and I created a bunch of them, Bayern Munich, etc. But one of them that I created is actually this Inter Milan warm-up. So I'm going to add that to this, and I'm going to zoom out here, increase the size, and line it up like so. I'm going to press Command U, bring the lightness all the way down to make it black, press save, and look at that. So that's another way you can go about designing it. I'm going to leave these stripes. So I'm going to use the stripes, and I'm actually going to select these layers, press Command T, hold Shift and extend it like so to kind of fit the size of the actual kit. So there we go. This is my Inter Milan concept, I guess. Now let's go ahead and work on the sleeves and the rest of it. So the sleeves, we're going to come over and click the Smart Objects. And the first thing you do when you open these, I recommend going down and getting a solid color and picking the color you want to use. In this case, we're going to do black. Save it. Do it to the other sleeve. Save it. And boom, there we go. We got some black sleeves. You'll notice the inside here is blue. I'm not sure if you'll be able to see it. But if we go to Parts, Jersey, right sleeve, we can now make that black. Right sleeve, black. So that follows with our new color scheme that we're going with. And for creating the sleeves, I recommend you design one and then get it however you like, and then dragging it over to the other sleeve. Now, my template here that I'm using obviously shows the right sleeve more than the left because it's like a 3/4 angle, but you might have a template that's facing straight on or like from the back, so it might be equal, so you might have to pay more attention to it. I'm going to come in here and get a rectangle and create like a little gold stripe at the bottom, like that. Make it gold. And I'm going to make sure it fits in the document perfectly. I don't want a lot hanging over the edges. I'm going to go below that, clicking the color fill. I'm going to go to my patterns and get this Nike pattern I have. Drag that on. And we're going to set this up along the sleeves. And I'm going to make this blue. It's a little too far to the left, so I'm going to bring it in to about there. And maybe I want to make that gold stripe a little thicker, so we'll increase it a bit. Now once you get that to where you like, you can drag it over to the other sleeve. First things first though, we got to change the cuff to gold because we changed that now. Gold cuff. And now let's select all of this, actually just the Nike sleeve and the rectangle. Drag it to the left and line up the bottom rectangle with the bottom like that. I'm going to press Command T, right click, flip horizontal, since this is going to be displayed mainly on this side, and align it like that. So obviously this sleeve is smaller than the right sleeve, so I have to compensate for that a little bit, and you can see I get something like this. The cuff didn't line up well, so I'm actually going to have to bring everything down a little bit. And that's a little better. Another thing to keep in mind is the side stripe that we have a color for over here. And if I make that black, see if that makes it any better. I kind of like that. I'm going to let that black stripe go. And there we go, there is the top. Now we got to move on to the shorts. So let's hide or close all these layers. I don't need this patterns anymore, I'm going to close out of that. And let's open up the shorts. Like I said before, add solid colors. Black, save, and then black, and save it again. And we also have to add logos again, and you could add a number or something on the other short. I'm going to add the Nike logo and Inter Milan logo. So to get that, I'm going to open up our front again, and these should be sized correctly. So let's go ahead and grab, here's the Nike swoosh, add it to the leg, and I'm not sure which leg this is, let's see. It's the left, which is the one I want, so let's bring it over to the right side a little bit, and that's pretty good placement, maybe down just a tad. There we go, not bad. And then on the other one, we want to add the Inter Milan logo, and this one will be slightly to the right. It's a little too far. And there we go. Now with all these logo placements, whenever you save this and then go on to make a new kit, now you know where to place the logos. So I recommend leaving these logos here, and say if you're doing a new kit like PSG, leave the Inter Milan kit here, or leave the Inter Milan logo here, add the PSG logo, line it up with the Inter Milan logo, and then delete the Inter Milan logo. And then it'll keep all your logo positioning consistent. And as you can see, I'm pretty happy with this setup. Now, say I want, okay, I'm closing this. I didn't do anything to it, so I'm going to click don't save. Say I want to add the sleeve design to the shorts. I can go into the jersey, get the right sleeve, grab that design, and add it down the side. You can see it's a little too big, so we're just going to have to make an adjustment like that. Save it. And there we go. Maybe bring it over a little further. And cool, now we have the matching sleeves and shorts. And you could add a design to the rest of the shorts in the front, but obviously that's not a very common thing. So I'm going to leave it as is. And you can also add the like trim at the bottom. So I did the trim on the sleeves. I could do the same thing with the shorts, maybe add a gold trim. Boom, you have a nice gold trim. I'm not a big fan of that, so I'm going to hide it and move on to the next design, which is the socks. Now I'm going to close the sleeve with the Inter Milan logo, and I'm going to close the jersey sleeve, and I'm going to leave the one with the swoosh because I want to add that to these socks as well. So let's close these, and let's go open the socks. Add the solid color, black and black. Save it, and we get an idea of what it's going to look like. And let's go and add the swoosh to them. Now I'm going to add it just kind of like in the middle here, and let's see that placement. Alright, so it's too far to the left. Bring it slightly to the right. Close, a little further. That's pretty good. Let's do the same thing to the right sock. This one, it might be a little more towards the middle. Ooh, that's pretty good. Gotta bring it slightly up. And there we go, nice. And once you get that logo placement, we can go ahead and add the design. So maybe we want to do stripes again. Let's open up the front. Let's get our stripes folder, add it to the layer, bring it below, Command T to transform and rotate it holding Shift. You'll notice that it's black on black, so you can't see anything. But if we come to all these layers and select them, don't select the group, select all the layers individually. Command E to merge, double click, select blue, boom, we get blue. Command T to transform, and let's make it a little smaller. Save it, let's check that out, and we get some striped socks. You notice for my template, there's these like shin guard parts that don't get the design. That's just part of my template. Like, that's not a consistent thing. Your template will be different, or it might be the same, you never know. It just depends on what template you get, and this is like a slightly older one. But say I'm happy with that design, we can go ahead and drag it over to the other sock. And I tried to align the blue stripe with the Nike swoosh, so I'm going to do that again to keep it consistent. Save it, and there we go. You'll notice there's a little difference at the top here, so you'll just have to play around with that. So the right one I might want to move up. And there we go, that's a little more consistent. And then finally we have the shoes to do. So let's close out of everything else. Open up the boots folder. And I actually don't want any design here, so I'm gonna hide that and hide that. Save them both, and that should just be black. And there is our kit. And that's basically how you go through and design a YellowImages kit. Like I said earlier, they're some of the best quality mockups you can find. If you're really trying to show off your designs, this is the best bet for it. I like to save these with a transparent background. So what I do is uncheck the drop shadow, uncheck the background, go to File, Export, Save for Web. And I like to do a PNG 24 preset. And before clicking save, I like to just click through and make sure everything looks good. So you'll notice if I scroll down, oh, the design goes over the logo. So that was something that I messed up, and I'd have to cancel and change before saving it. But once I'm done, I just can go click save, and then I like to display it nicely with a background and whatnot, which you might have seen on, like, say, my Behance or my Instagram and things like that. But anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed this tutorial. If you did, please leave a like, subscribe for more tutorials like this. Be sure to check out YellowImages. The link for them will be in the description below, and I will link the mockups that I have from them. Also, be sure to check out my store and my patterns pack, and follow me on Twitter at Qehzy. Be sure to check out my Patreon. They get all my exclusive stuff. They get all my kit designs. If it's something you're interested in, you can get all the files from my kits, and a bunch of other good stuff, videos early. Be sure to check that out. Link is also in the description. But thank you guys for watching, and I hope to see you in the next one. Peace.